fence. Hadn't been there the whole time for any of the other characters. Boom, down in the garden. Then him. Beautiful comic timing. Hi, my name's Samantha, and I think that cats are telepathic. I'm going by my own research and experiments here. I'm not a scientist, although I do spend quite a lot of time with cats. A couple of months ago, I made a video where I was doing some characters, I was doing some impressions, and I happened to be also taking care of a cat at the time. And I included a cat character, a wise cat woman, who on this channel I've done as myself. So I spent years being other people, and then I wanted to become more of myself, you know? Partly making these videos has helped me do that, even though from time to time I do still do characters. I was requested to do a tape basically for Saturday Night Live UK. I think it's pretty okay to say that because they've announced it themselves ages ago that they're doing a UK version of Saturday Night Live. Right, so anyway, my agent asked me to make this tape on the Thursday, and they said get it back to us by Monday. And I happened to be looking after this gorgeous cat who I've looked after a few times over the last few years. Me and him, we get on well. I love him. He's amazing. Past life, I reckon I would have been one of those people who worship cats. This life, I still am really into them, but I'm more like, okay, I think everyone is equal and all beings are equal. I do believe in a consciousness that connects us all. And if the word higher is used, I don't think it's in terms of like higher in something is better than the other. It's more like wiser, perhaps. And wiseness can be connected for many reasons. I had this character called Wise Cat Woman who wasn't really a character. Also, she's not really me. She's just like, she's archetypal, isn't she? But I'm talking about, and it's not even actually gendered, like a wise cat person. I noticed people use that term crazy cat lady, which really winds me up. So I decided to create a video chatting about how ridiculous it is that people use the term crazy cat lady. It's good to use the term wise cat woman. I'm making this video and I thought, on Thursday, Friday, I was getting insights. What characters would I like to speak as? Who would I want to include in this tape? And then I thought, I'll include Wise Catwoman, although I'll do it not as myself as a character. And then on the Sunday, I decided to film, and I had a few photos of me, which I used as, like kind of costume. Not kind of, like they were costume, but it wasn't that elaborate. And I had my Wise Catwoman t-shirt for this one. In my head, I was like filming these other characters, and then suddenly I went, right, now I'm gonna, in my head, I know my heart. Now I'm going to do the Wise Catwoman. And then what happened was, just at that moment, and I got down in position and put on my t-shirt. Just at that moment, Kishmish comes up over the wall with the fence. Hadn't been there the whole time for any of the other characters. Boom, down in the garden. He comes in, he sits by me. She's not sitting at this point, he still stood. And I say this line, because I wiggle my nose when I was a baby. Then him, beautiful comic timing, wiggles his tail. Then I say cat sitter. As I say sit, he sat. It's not a dog, but he did. Now I have read somewhere that cats and dogs have the human language of a 3-year-old. I don't like going always on what, as I said before, I don't always like going on what people just tell me. Was it a coincidence? Who knows? Now, I have done research into this in terms of watching this documentary, and it was about this woman who spoke to baboons, and there was a scientist in the background who observed her and took notes, smiling because it was quite humorous the way it was done. She'd be like chatting but telepathically, and then it would be like, but he said, I think within the next 20 years, like everyone will be communicating with animals in that way, and I think it's developing more. Like, tell me, do you communicate with animals in that way? There was that amazing podcast that came out, I think it was at the beginning of this year, called the Telepathy Tapes, about people who communicate telepathically. And in that, they were talking about how the person who's receiving telepathy has to have their heart open. It's quite often mothers with their children. That mother had to have her heart open to be able to receive it. And I think that's the same between animals and humans. Like, both have to have their heart open in order to be able to do that communication. I do that when I'm with cats. I sit in there and I tell them I'm ready. I know there's some people who are going to think, she's crazy cat lady. I don't really care, because I know I'm a wise cat woman. On my wallpaper on my phone, I have the facility every time I go there, a different cat appears. I've taken care of quite a few cats over the last few years, and I do tend to think to myself, oh, I wonder, going on what thoughts I've just had or what I'm experiencing right now, like what cat will appear, because they all represent different things to me. And the cat who I just have been talking about appeared on my phone as the screensaver, so maybe telepathically he is communicating with me right now. And I didn't say this in the other video that I made that I looked after this tortoiseshell. If you go to my YouTube shorts, you will see there's quite a few cat videos on there, and they all appear in there along with a few dogs. And they're all cats and dogs that I know from my life. Tortoiseshell cat Poppy, who is no longer with us in this realm. First time I looked after her, her family went to America and they were in a different time zone. They'd text me at 4 a.m. in the morning. When they text me, Poppy would pop out and say meow and hello. And you're not going to know this, but she wouldn't do that other times.